Hello, everyone. Back to do a part two on this alien base thing that's getting built. Just a quick update before I get started with that. Got the tank textured and mostly done. I have to do the interior yet and some little detailing and sensors and things like that. But trying to emulate the style of this ship, I think it came out pretty good. Has that same type of look. I did add some cheese graters to the front of it. I got to have those, in case you have to go blast through some trees or something like that. And it does have a multi-turret on the back, a retractable one. Um, Other than that, it's coming along pretty good. I think it matches well, and that was the whole point of it. This one has a little bit less exposed parts, but I did stick some RCS under here to so you could see little lights and things like that. But a question was brought up on whether this would be weak or not on this other ship here, seeing some RCS through the sides here, and then in one case like a generator through here. Um, Despite what you see, it has an awful lot more, and they're distributed throughout the hull of the ship. So essentially, if you lost all the exposed parts, it really won't impact you that much um, because there's a lot more. And that's kind of the thing. Like, for instance, say this portion of the ship over here gets heavily damaged and takes out the generator that's like embedded in over here, and these RCS. By no means will that disable this ship. It's going to take an awful lot more than that to bring it down. As providing your best bet would be to try to take out the pilot, and if you can somehow target the core, which is actually up in the ceiling over here, would be the easiest way to take the ship down. So it's made to be resilient, um, but it does flaunt some parts around just for cosmetic effect, pretty much. The tank doesn't do it quite as much. The tank's a little bit tougher all around, but it's a tank. It's not an SV. Um, so this tank would be about the equivalent of about the Anubis, I would say. The Anubis does have the advantage though, where it does not have an exposed cockpit at all, but doesn't offer first-person view. This tank, however, has a shield. So the Anubis probably will at some point. I do have to update that ship. Anyway, getting back to this project. I was taking a look at the body, and I got to start stretching the body around the other side here and try to plot out some more things. And I'm kind of leaving a lot of this basic right now on the walls, and I was planning on adding a bunch of pipes or things or stuff in there, but get to all that when it's time. So what I was looking at is I kept on saying that I wanted to add like some kind of tower to this, and I was thinking of a good way to do that. And I'm looking at this side over here, thinking, well, hey, you know what? What if I had like a leg or a limb that comes down from here to the ground, and then it goes up over to this area with like some form of like tower. That's of course unique to the rest of the base. So I'm thinking I'm going to start with that and start plotting out some blocks here for that purpose. Um, I just got to figure out where I want to start the tower at, actually. I think maybe about here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of first do a quick plot, again, similar to what I did with the other part. Do some Minecraft block action here and try to come up with a desired shape, which is very quick and easy to manipulate these blocks, so it's not too bad at all. And say on this side too, not that I want to do it the same as the other side, but I was thinking about like going out like one angle length, something like this. Oop, light was on, alright. And then let's see, how far up would this actually want to go? Something like this. So if that was all angled up and curved, and there'd probably need to be some form of wall back here, a little bit like the other side was done, although this side's just different. Now in the wall over here, what I was thinking about doing is trying to design some kind of tank, a roundish looking, maybe 2 or 3 block wide tank, like it's holding some kind of parts or storage or alien egg sacs, whatever it might be. So I think that would be a neat little effect over here. So I'm going to try to, I'll give it like a 3 block area to add some kind of tank there, and then say it would go out again and mimic what's going on the other side. And my big thing is I want the hangar doors to line up. I was thinking the idea is a pass-through hangar, which I personally like myself. So you don't have to try to turn vehicles around inside the hangar. You can just drive out the other side, which I just think is a better way to go if it's big enough to do that. And this should definitely be big enough to do that. Okay, so with the tank, I think I'm going to get that in here first. So now right now the designated floor height is 1 block up from the ground. I plan on having this have a base go down 2 blocks below the ground floor, which would give you a nice place to set this, so you don't have terrain sticking up and you get all the feet on the ground. But for now, I think we're just going to go with a round type of thing up a little ways and then try to manipulate that as we go. Probably should have done that. Here, let's just go up 3 blocks for right now. And once it gets to a certain height here, I want to investigate some of these transition blocks from round to other things. And these pieces look like they'd be a good fit for that. Trying to, of course, use a lot of new blocks, and you can achieve some more complex looking angles using that as well. So let's see, we go up to there, and of course this base is so much about transitions. I mean, from one place to another, it just keeps on changing, and all the way up throughout the body, going around all the walls and whatnot. That's what I had in mind, at least. Now, of course, it needs a lot more spikies and things too, but I'm gonna look at that once I get like most of the body done, start figuring out where I can add and accents and things like that. So now on these angles here, I wanted to do an experiment and go to the alternative angles to see if I can make something in that group work. I think it will too, if I do it right. A little tricky getting some of these aligned yet, but I'm screwing this up. There we go now. Yeah, occasionally I do have the occasional like brain fart as I'm doing things. It's like, hey, what am I doing wrong here? Huh. I don't know if any of you ever had this mental issue where it's like, how do I get this block to rotate the angle I want it to be at? I still have that problem occasionally, especially with the new blocks. I'm not as familiar with them. But there it is. That's what I needed to do. Rotate it around that way. this all the way up for now and then do the other side. Now, can I get this right the first time, or am I going to have to screw around with it? No, okay, that's how it's done. So I think it's kind of cool too, because you got, like, you know, the walls going the same, and then all of a sudden you got this different shape mixed into the bunch, which I'm purposely trying to do that, especially with this race of creations. Just try to flip everything on its side one way or another. Alright, so the next thing is want a frame to line up and be smooth and come down to this point and angle out. So kind of a complicated multi-angled shape. So I got to first figure out how I'm gonna bring that down nicely and line up with the other frame. And what blocks do I want to use to do that? Now that there's options, it's kind of neat. But I think with this one, I'm going to try to go with the traditional wedge-shaped blocks for now and see how that comes out. But where do I start them at? Thinking right there, so we get kind of a small little jagged corner there. And then this could be tracked all the way down to there. We'll see how it comes out at least. Of course, I got to start thinking about jaggies too. And I'm thinking I might make some little flares that come out on this side, like little sharp things to mess with you. Okay, so that works out pretty good. I know it's a little bit similar to the other side over here now, but I don't want it to be similar. So rather than doing an indentation like I did on this side, I'm thinking, I don't know, I need something different here. How about a ridge line here, and have it go out have it like extrude out of it. The big question is, can that ever work with this angle? Probably not. That's all right. Just curious what happens if I don't angle that back in and try to follow it up to this wall. So now we've got one of these impossible joints to fix. So I don't know if it's impossible or not, but I don't think I would find any matching blocks to work with that. So what can be done? How about we say, let's add a pipe here. Another trick to getting around things that don't line up. do something different there. That, so I can't put a block in there, so that block would have to be not there. Let's see if we can work around this. Alright, so that kind of builds a nice little 2x2 area, or 2 section here that maybe something different could be done here yet. Got an idea. Let's try another funky curve block. I think that was in this group here somewhere. This one. So this is a square into a 2 round edges. And I was wondering what would happen if I did something like that and some other kind of roundish thing on the front here. But how can I mix up this round to not have it so uniform? And that's kind of cool this day and time because there's all these new round parts. Man, I think I got an idea here. I think this effect could be really cool. Take some of these, which are half round blocks, and then so you can kind of see through, and then do something behind it that maybe texture lights or something to give it a little depth. But I'm just trying to figure out what would be a good idea for that. What kind of block would work? So I got this triangle with one side that's a little bit flat. Yeah, kind of looks like there's some vents, but I don't like the fact that it doesn't look like this part is attached to the other part. So, nope, never mind. Try something different. I think the only block I will be able to use for this actually is this piece, which I think would fit well. And we'll line up the solid side to the bottom and run the other side up instead. Which does seal it off nicely too. It gives you a little bit of depth when you look inside of there. And let's just say on the bottom we fill that in with, for now at least, with straight solid curves. Alright. That's starting to look a little funkier. I guess while we're on the front here, I gotta figure out what to do with this wall now. This is kind of a disaster at the moment. My blocks are too close here to make this fit well. So what can I do here? I think in this case I'm going to do the other trick and put a ridge line here and make these blocks go deeper. At least an attempt here. About one more. Okay, so then I could seal. No, I went too far now. Day. Okay, I'm just taking a look at these other lines here to see if they're uniform. If I can match that pattern, I think it would look overall better at the same angles here, or same like if this was a line going straight across, it lines up over on this side, despite this side being totally different. And there would need to be something here too. Totally freaky. All right. I did kind of cut in pretty severe over on this part, though. I'll say that it doesn't line up with this one part that is kind of symmetric. And what would it take for that part to line up, actually? I think it does that. Get rid of this block, and we'll put in this one. Yeah, that should work. So this is kind of like a 45-degree angle here. Let's go to a different block yet. And there's this other corner half A1. This is kind of a neat block too. I might be able to do an angle like that. And then get back into that, if rotated correctly. And then you got a little line there. Alright, so behind the pipe, now let's fill that in. Alright, so now, hypothetically, the actual ground where the feet are going to be are one below what is seen currently. So it would be down another row. What I want to do is get like a front stairway in here and have it so I can make it go to the ground when I want to. So I'm going to change a couple of these bottom blocks around for now so I can get something like this in. Something that would work well for this. Again, taking a look at some of the funky transition blocks here. I call them funky. I mean, once you get used to them, none of them are funky really, but when you're trying to learn them, they are. Huh. That'd be weird now, wouldn't it? Weird, but I'm not sure if I like it. Maybe it's this block here. This angle now doesn't look good to me. About there. No, then that's the same angle. If went with this one. Oh, that's more like it. Okay, then that doesn't work. But I think that's a good solution. Okay, so yeah, that's got a better round part going on there now. But how do I join all this up over here? Because that gap is kind of weird there. I think I'm going to have to eliminate part of that and just put some full blocks here. Maybe I should just do that on the bottom here too. Yeah, I like that angle in there though. I don't really want to lose it, but I don't really see much choices. I'll think about that and come back to it. Alright. Let's get some parts here real quick. Say we throw in a door for now. And yeah. Debating whether or not to put a staircase here or not. They are aliens. Do they use steps? I don't know. Tell you what, let's just use regular staircase. Can always swap it out later. Okay, oh, concrete. Yeah, we can use concrete. Now what? We're gonna have it come out one block before it goes down. And all in all, to make that work, it would have to have, if it's going to go down one more block below this point, it would have to have 3 steps out at this angle. And I don't like using the other angle of steps because, not that it probably would matter with the base, but I don't know. I like these stairs better, cosmetically and functionally. what can we do on the sides of the steps to have it look different than the other bases and be alien but have something going on here that's a little funky. What if starting below here it actually had some pipes that come out? Oops. A couple of these, but so weird rotating this one. Normally, nope. Okay, somehow I got it around the right direction. Trying to think on how I could. I kind of like that. So it's kind of like a joint, like almost like this is some mechanism that would be able to kind of raise up or something. I don't know. Perception. What does it look like? I don't know. That's a little better now. So at this level of the base, I don't know yet. I think maybe I ought to get back to that once I get this thing established and raised off the ground another block to see where it's at. But you know, honestly, the floor is 2 up already, so this, maybe my whole thinking's off. Does it need to go down another block beyond where it's at for placing it? It does have 1 block leeway plus your floor. And the footprint on this base, let's say if the end wall didn't go much further out past this hangar door, maybe let's just say it went out 3 blocks and then went around to about here. I just want to see something really quick. I want to see how this compares to the base that it's kind of going after in size, which would be the sanctum installation. How big is this in comparison? See, now this base didn't have, this only has a 1 block floor. And of course, when you're on really flat terrain like I'm on right now, you can place it, but you can see as soon as you have some terrain problems how it's going to be a nightmare to place it in the or you bury it into the ground a little bit more, and then you have to like carve out the terrain that floated through the bottom of the base. So in size-wise, actually this is smaller than that base. I just wanted to see where it was at, and that's okay. That's okay. It didn't have to be as big as this one. Actually, probably be better off if it had a smaller footprint anyway. So you know what? For now, I'm just going to say this is the bottom at this lower row, and if it becomes a problem, I can always extend that out later. So if this is the bottom, what I wanted to do is make some funkiness down here too, and use some pipes and things in case you see any of this from after placing it. You know, it'd be kind of, actually, oh, that's 4 wide. I was hoping it was 3 wide, because then the turret would have positioned very nicely in there, like a ground front turret. But it wouldn't line up right now. But, well, if it did something really funky here, it kind of broke out to the turret position over here. That's actually kind of glued to the side of the base. Huh. Make sure that it stays nice, and not that this would collapse after 2 blocks or anything like that, but I think this would be a nice little opportunity to get like a pole down there, a little support pillar, and then on this part I was actually thinking about curving this up just a little bit though. Sometimes I just have such a hard time seeing what angle things are at. Oh, I grabbed the wrong block too. So what if, starting at that point, I had one of these on each side. Whoops. Man, I'm just screwing up the stuff today. Come on. Quit rotating wrongly. I think I'm extra clicky when I'm rotating stuff right now. Well, despite it being offset, I think I could deal with that. And man, I know I said I was going to do a high-speed video of this too, but I figure what I'll do is I'll just work on other things off screen and keep this flowing on building this thing out. Kind of see what's going on with it better, at least until the body is done. As in texturing, I'll show you kind of what I'm doing with the method, but that's so tedious to watch that I'll probably do most of that off screen. Okay, so that's getting a little more worked out. Don't mind that at all. And let's see these beams here. How should this be done? So we have that there. The alternative angles here. And get rid of that one and replace it with this guy. There, so all that lines up nice. This whole top part's a bit of a disaster right now. Guess maybe resume working on this tower portion. The tower really should have some kind of function at the top of it too. Should this base have an artillery or just regular defense guns, and how many defense guns? Being kind of a mid-level base, I didn't want to run like maximum guns or anything like that. And artillery might be a bit of a stretch. Just comparing it to the Sanctum, this one had, what is it, I believe 5 regular turret mount positions. Oh no, actually 6. And then it had a home to dump a artillery if you wanted one. So going up in time, I'm thinking about 8 to 10 turrets on this one, and I'm not sure if I'm going to leave an artillery mount though. Alright. So I guess I kind of did bring that out a little bit further than what I was assuming I was going to do, and that's probably because I put in, I did too, I put in the wrong angle here. Let me just make sure I got that right. I actually should have been using this, I believe. I'm losing my, how would that need to be? It would have to be, I don't know what it is with this block, but it just messes me up. I want to turn it the other way. Typically with the other blocks I would do this and then rotate it a couple that way, but that doesn't work with this block. I'm totally screwing this up. there it is. Okay. Okay. Whole point of that was so I could change the angle. I know, a lot of extra work. In this rare instance, I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't leave that wedge out to give it kind of that cut in there. I think I'm going to try it. Alright, and then to make this part fit, I don't think there's really any block that'll work besides this one. But I think that, yeah, that'll work fine. Yeah, I think I kind of like how the angle's going here. Looks like I didn't do this top part though. Alright, that's kind of making a neat little shape up there, kind of an angled thing with some cuts in it. Yeah, don't mind that at all. And I think this block would make it possible to line those two up. Yeah. And now I'm thinking, you know what would be kind of really cool here is if this was another turret mount point. That's something I definitely want to do, is try to get turrets surrounding 360 degrees on this base. Quite important this day and time. I don't know though. I want to extend. I'll think on that one. Actually, I'm thinking a better spot might be up top here for a turret. want the turret sitting so it's about here or there, though. Well, get back to that too. I gotta start trying to figure out how it's gonna go from the other side of the base back around again. And this big door. Still don't like what I got going on here. Yeah, it's really kind of a pain to cover up a door so big. But to be honest, it's kind of a cost savings, as I believe it doesn't matter what size hangar door you use, they cost the same price. So using a really big one, yeah, I mean, if you think about the resources it would cost to fill in this entire area with blocks, this is cheaper. And in fact, if I was ever going to make the cheapest base possible, I'd probably use 4 of the biggest hangar doors for 4 walls and put a roof and floor on it. And that'd give you a lot of space. It'd be really cheap. It does use 2 cobalt per door though, so you need 8 cobalt total on that. Alright, so what to do here? And where do we want the ceiling? Now, I could legitimately put the ceiling for the hangar area at the same height as the hangar door here. Using this, it won't interfere with the door whatsoever. In fact, it probably trims it off a little bit nicer. So that could keep this down. And this area up here could be a landing spot. But since I just want to go totally funky, let me mess with this corner here too now. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of plotting and maybe try to get the other hangar door fit on this side. So we know we're lined up here. And we know it goes down to here, and this would be the floor. And the opposing wall. Just wanted to see where it all came out and see if I liked where that's at. So sometimes it's a real pain in the butt to fit these doors too. I do it right? Has it got enough space? Lined up there. And it's actually got more room than it needs on that side. So it should fit in here. Just doesn't feel like it right now. Help it all. Come on, why don't you line up? Huh. What the heck is causing that to be all funky like that? Just make sure I got more floor in here. I do have the height right? No, I don't. That's what was doing it. That's right. There's hangar door actually has to fit there. Okay, that works now. Alright, so then the back side here. What could be done to make that look neat? Well, you know what? Hangar's gonna need a ramp. just soon use blocks for it and not a actual ramp. Try it again using these newer blocks. Alright. For uniformity's sake, I probably ought to build this up the same on the other side as well. Start with the bottom, I guess. What does that do there? Okay, I think that's a traditional angle, but it's solid on the bottom. Oops. Do that right or not? No, went out too far. And at the wrong angle. Oh, wait a minute. It's this block and this block. Okay, and then at the start there, then it angles upward. All right. Okay. That's not so bad. Now, don't want a square edge there. I think we also decided that this is going to be the top of the flight deck, so going up one beyond that, well, nah, could be neat turret mount points. For now, I'm going to just carve it down one block here. Starting to get a format going, I guess. Um, Still not as funky as I would like it to be, and I don't think it necessarily matches this stuff yet. Now, color and texture make a big difference on that, though. Um, but what is lacking, some features that I got going on these, is these jagged little like light spikes. I don't know what they are. And things like that. Course pipes. Just kind of trying to get some reference on this. And also, yeah, I guess with this race too, I don't know what these are, but I think they look pretty cool. It's just they didn't fit well with any of the existing things I made before. But I'm trying to use that as one of the features that the alien race over here has. So I'm trying to get like some of these on all their moving vehicles at least, and probably the bases too. Well, I guess some more work has been done on this. Um, don't want the video to run on too much longer. I think another good session, I might be able to get most of the body finished up. Have to do this back wall, figure out what I want to go have happen with this supposed tower I keep talking about, and try to figure out how to make this look cool, like on the sides. Kind of techno stuff. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and hope this is a little insight into weird building stuff. And I'm gonna just keep on going with the commentary on building the whole structure of this base and thoughts, and try to use some different blocks, and then try to migrate it over to look like these things. And we'll see how that turns out. Now, one other thing before I go, I wanted to show you, and I'm probably going to make this, move this over to this race, is this building here. This is my most funky building I built in the past. It's more of a defense tower than it is a base, really. It's not very well equipped to be a base. It doesn't have much room inside it for parking stuff. It's got one landing pad, it's got a small hangar, but it has a lot of guns. So what I was thinking about doing is actually reskinning this to match that. Add in maybe some of the flares that this has onto this, and have this as part of this race as well as a defense tower. So that would be like the fifth item, and then I'm also thinking of about a small SV Scout, much smaller than what this is, and then a mining vehicle for this race. That would give it a pretty, that along with a capital ship, it'd be pretty. It would start to take shape. And with this race too, I'd probably migrate all this to a new collection. I'll probably call it like the Military Survival Series Aliens Origin or something like that. I don't know. But all plans for the future. But hope you like all this stuff, and you all have a good day. Thanks a lot.